Hi everyone, William here. Sorry about the lapse. I haven't done a video since, was it Thursday or Friday? Anyway, it's been a while. Weekends are always busy, but Monday was unusually so. Today is Tuesday, the 3rd of March, 2026. We're going to be doing another 1908 letter written by Dmitri to Maria. I should have stopped and said this is the Grand Duke Dmitri YouTube series, diaries, and now for a while letters. I am honestly a little bit hesitant to return to 1917 because of the current situation with Iran, and because those diary entries are set in Iran. I'm not going to say another word about it because the reason I'm hesitant to do it is because I just don't want to set myself off and launch any tirades or anything like that. For the moment, these letters seem like a good option. So let me know if you're dissatisfied with having this interval in 1908, and if so, I'll take that seriously. Okay, so our recap. What did we do? I'm not so on the ball today. We did the 28th of June? No, it was later than that. 14th of July. Well, the latest one we've done chronologically is the 31st of August, but in that wasn't the last one we did. In the last one we did, there was this squabble. I think it was 28th of June. There was this sort of domestic squabble among the women who were friends or otherwise attached to Grand Duchess Maria Pavlovna, the younger, now a princess of Sweden, over who would be visiting her. I don't know, why they couldn't all visit her, or, well, I guess that wouldn't work all at once. But yeah, there was a squabble over it, and Dmitri, very typically for him, was trying to mediate, and he was also, though, scolding his sister over handling things wrongly, in his opinion. He did quite a lot of wordplay, was very humorous and playful in his sign-off in particular. And yeah, okay, moving on. We're going to be in the Crimea today, the 17th of September, 1908. The letter of the 31st of August was also written from the Crimea. He had just arrived, going straight from Sweden to from Sweden to Finland, and then from Finland to Petersburg, and then from Petersburg to the Crimea, but all in a whirlwind, not stopping more than one night in any place. So now it's the 17th of September, so it's a little over 2 weeks later. He's had a chance to settle in. The problem is with this one is that there are a lot of blanks. Maybe he was writing hastily. He didn't leave blanks, but there are a lot of words that are illegible, and I have to resort to saying blank in those places. So when I say blank, you'll know that that's a word that was illegible. This has to do with Maria's pregnancy, and the dates are a little confusing. I was trying to figure out what happened because in the diary entry of the 31st of August, Dmitri made this statement when he saw a pregnant waitress in the Finnish town where they stopped. And he said, well, she was in an interesting condition, which reminded me of you. And so I thought, aha, Maria must be pregnant. But such was not the case. Dmitri was clearly anticipating that at some point his sister would be pregnant, but she wasn't at that time. So today's diary entry is about finding out that she is, in fact, pregnant, and her son, Lennart, was born in May 1908. So having this information on the 17th of September 1908, that makes sense. Okay, here we go. Just one more thing. Vilgashka is Dmitri's nickname for Prince William of Sweden, Maria's husband. All right, Crimea, 17th September 1908. My darling, triple exclamation point. Auntie told me the news that you, and then in parentheses he puts 4 exclamation points. I, if it is permitted, congratulate you with all my heart. If I may be permitted, I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. God grant you everything good, and I also congratulate your husband with all my heart and permit myself to remind you that I am losing the bet about you and blank, who will have the puppies blank. No, Maria, I really am overwhelmed by this news. You, a mommy. How can that be? You are now truly a Grand Duchess, not a Duchess. Again, I rejoice together with you. I wrap my arms around Vilgashka. Time is passing fairly peacefully in the Crimea. I wrap you in my arms, your blank. And then he adds another sign off, your Dmitri. Okay, there are some clarifications that need to be made in this in terms of words that don't translate well. But to begin with, it's interesting that the news came first to Ella, and Ella was the one who told Dmitri about it. As in the previous video that talked about pregnancy, we noted that that was a forbidden word at the time. You could not say pregnant, and so you use things like interesting condition, or in this case, Dmitri doesn't use a word at all. He puts these 4 exclamation points in parentheses. Auntie told me the news that you, exclamation point times 4, no word. Okay, and I think that explains these references to permission. If it is permitted, I congratulate you. And then further on, I permit myself to remind you that I am losing the bet. Well, it sounds like I don't know about this bet. This is a very inopportune place for there to be these illegible words. Maybe he was a little embarrassed about what he was writing. The bet was maybe about who would get pregnant first, her dog Mutzik or her. Maybe it was just a bet about when the dog will have puppies. No, but he says, I'm losing the bet about you and blank, who will have the puppies. That's probably Mutzik. Boy, he really is going pretty far in that. So if we put Mutzik into the blank space, I'm losing the bet about you and Mutzik, who will have the puppies. Maybe the next blank is first. Yeah, okay. Well, that would not be untypical of Dmitri, but given that he won't even say the word pregnant, it's rather odd that he would go that far. So make of what you will of that. Next, so the issue with the words. So he says, you a mommy, exclamation point. Well, mommy, if you're thinking that doesn't sound quite right there, yeah, it's awkward. The word he uses in Russian is mamasha, which is like little mother, little mommy. It's, it's an affectionate diminutive of mama. And yeah, so it reads better with the Russian word. You, a mamasha, exclamation point. And after that, the other word is, I'm sure you all know that that Grand Duke and Grand Duchess are not what was used in Russia, that they were what was used when the Romanovs were abroad. Grand Duke and Grand Duchess were used in both French and in English, and the Romanovs used those themselves when they referred to themselves in French or in English. The Germans had the more accurate term, Großfürst, which means great prince, And that is exactly what the word is in Russian, Velikaya Knyaz. Sorry, I'm getting my Grand Duke and Grand Duchess mixed up. Veliki Knyaz and Velikaya Knyaginya, I believe. Real mouthful. Sorry if I missaid those. So great prince and great princess. So again, this reads better in Russian. You are now truly a great princess, not a princess. It sounds weird in English because there were no dukes or duchesses in Russia. Those titles did not exist. You had dukes and duchesses who were foreigners or whose titles were German, for instance. But you did not have Russians. There was no Russian title duke or duchess. So it sounds weird for him to say, or would if he'd written it that way, you are now truly a Grand Duchess, not a Duchess. It should be you are now truly a great princess, not a princess. So that's very, very interesting, I think, because, yeah, it's interesting that he's tying in his joy here, that he's tying the idea of the great, the Velikaya, to specifically to having a baby. And I guess you could say that that was, you know, alas, at that time period, that was what was considered the duty of a royal woman, was to produce an heir. In this case, it's an heir for the Swedish royal family, not a crown prince, but an heir to Prince Wilhelm. But, you know, like it or not, that was the primary duty of a Grand Duchess or a great princess or any other royal lady, I think. And so for a man, for Dmitri, it was going into the military. It would be when he swore his oaths to the crown and to Russia and entered the military. That was when he would really be a Veliki Knyaz, not just a Knyaz. But in Maria's case, he's saying it's because she's gotten pregnant. So I find that particularly interesting. And is there anything else? No, I plan to do another 1908 diary entry next time, probably tomorrow on Wednesday, and a very charming one from Petersburg on the 3rd of October, when he talks about returning to the palace where he spent the first 10 years of his life, to Paul's palace, and seeing his old rooms and Maria's old rooms. So do come back for that, and I hope to see you then. Bye.